Letting number 8679, concrete and brick removal, replacement, and complete sidewalk installation, SP 107. We have 3 bids. Gershenson Construction Company, Inc., GERSHONSON Construction Company, Inc., $771,075. 771-075.00. SBC Contracting, Inc., SBC Contracting, Inc., $690,082.50. 690,082.50. Rainier Construction, LLC, RAINERI Construction, LLC, $706,052. 706,052.00. With the low bidder, please meet with Ms. Bryant in the hallway. Thank you.
Hearing number 8218 is being conducted pursuant to Section 26.100.030 of the Revised Code of the City of St. Louis. The purpose of the continued hearing is to determine whether the conditional use permit issued to Alshami Al-Rami Grand Stop to occupy 1015 North Grand as a mini market with deli and cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions, should be revoked. The conditional use permit is numbered as 125546. There are other conditional use permits that have been issued with respect to this address. The most recent, by Dylan Mosier of Zoning Office, cited this permit number, and the parties have been notified of the violations of the conditions of the conditional use permit in writing with the notice of today's hearing date. The conditions in question are as follows. Condition 5, there shall be no sale of items that can be used or are intended for the use as drug paraphernalia as defined in Ordinance 68404 or its successor ordinances, including but not limited to food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there shall be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for use involving a controlled substance, examples of which include, but are not limited to, the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Splitterillo, Backwoods, Optimo, Garcia and Vega, and Game. Condition 6, there shall be no temporary signage on the premise or posted to the exterior or interior of the windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. The Office of the Zoning Administrator has the burden to prove the conditional use permit conditions have not been complied with. After all evidence of the Zoning Administrator has been presented, the Board will ask for additional testimony, if any, in support of the revocation. Then the conditional use holder will be given the opportunity to present evidence. Lastly, the Board will hear other testimony in opposition to the revocation, if any. Your testimony is being recorded. When you come forward, please state your name and address and be sworn in. As you testify, please direct your comments to the Board and not to those in the audience. Members of the audience are asked to remain silent and not coach the witnesses. During your testimony, members of this Board may have questions for you. Following the hearing, the board will proceed with its regular agenda. Following the conclusion of the regular agenda, the board will deliberate, discuss, and vote on the hearing. The board will notify the conditional use holder of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. The Board of Public Service has in its possession the following documents, which are being introduced into evidence. Item 1, a certified copy of the zoning code of the City of St. Louis. Item 2, the conditional use permit numbered as 125546, issued to Al-Shami Al-Rami Grand Stop to occupy 1015 North Grand as a mini market with deli and cooking, no liquor, subject to certain conditions. Item 3, a letter dated March 30th, 2018, sent to Grand Stop CO Al-Shami Al-Rami from the zoning inspector warning of the violations of the conditions that were found upon a recent site inspection and the potential for a revocation hearing should the violations not be corrected within 30 days of the date of the letter. Item 4, a memorandum dated May 1st, 2018 from the zoning inspector to the zoning administrator stating upon that date the zoning inspector found violations of condition number 6 of the conditional use permit. This memo includes photographs of the said violations. Item 5, the public notices for today's hearing. And item 6, a certified letter dated November 27, 2018, sent to the conditional use permit holder and the property owner from the board secretary providing notice of today's hearing. At this time, the board asks the representative of the Office of the Zoning Administrator to please come forward and be sworn in.
I do. My name is Myra Turner. I'm zoning inspector for the City of St. Louis.
Please proceed.
Okay. Let me say that with this particular case, there was some confusion about the conditional use permit in which the citing was done. The citing was done in March. However, you will find that there was another permit issued in May. So what I need the board to understand is I still have to cite what's on the original, what they received, which was in March.
So the March permit is permit number 120299.
Correct.
Okay. So let's handle what is on 120299. And that is at the same address, correct?
It is
And
correct.
it is the same business?
Yes, it
And the
is.
same permit holder?
Yes,
Okay.
as far as I know. Okay, so as of today, they still were in violation of number 5, which was the cigars. They have shelves of cigars, and you'll find pictures of them. They even have something there that's called, let me tell you what it is, because I want to call it correctly. It's called Blunt Life.
Blunt Life?
Blunt Life. So they still have the cigars. They have something there that's called Blunt Life. It might be a cigar. I don't know. It's in a box. But number 5 is still in violation.
Okay.
Number 6 is in violation. They have temporary signage. They did get a permit back in, which you have a copy of. They did get a permit. Where's my date here? And the permit that they got was for to install 3 non-illuminated signs per the plans. It was issued August of 18, and it was completed in October of 18. Now, which 3 non-illuminated signs that they want to say are under this particular permit, I don't have a clue. However, they did get a permit for 3 non-illuminated signs, but they still have some temporary signage up.
So, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, so for the non-illuminating signs they have a permit for, would these 3 signs, the buy, the sale, and the trade, sell trade, would those count underneath that permit? Or are
It-
those considered temporary signs?
Let me say this, it could, but then they still have on the side of the building the sign that says Grand Stop, and then they still have on the front of the building the sign that says, so I'm not sure if they were doing those signs that actually had the name of the business, or if they were trying to permit those 3. And the owner was not there at the time I did the inspection this morning, so I couldn't ask him. So you might want to ask the permit holder about that. But yeah, it could be those 3, but then they would still be out of compliance with the other 2 name signs.
Okay. So we're still in violation of condition 5 and 6. And then one final question I'll ask, and I'll open it up for the board. Have you spoken to the conditional use permit holder about this previously?
Sure. He was very accommodating when I did speak to him about it. He was saying that anything that needs to be done, he would do. In fact, the gentleman at the store today had him on video chat, and he said anything that needed to be done, he would do. But I guess my concern is the fact that when that other permit was put in place, I think it was because he wanted to or had submitted to have one of his conditions amended. And as far as I'm concerned, it's still a violation because I cited him back in March. So whatever he got in May does not apply to where he was cited at the time.
Okay. Questions from the board?
Yes. With respect to the new permit, we'll call it the May permit. The May permit, if it was standing alone, would the permit holder be in compliance?
No, still will not be in compliance because he still has temporary signage, sir.
So should I then infer that the May permit permits or allows cigars and blunt life types of things?
Yes, as far as I know, it was for the amendment.
So I guess in your expertise and in your opinion, would that May permit supersede the March permit and thus make the March permit and that violation moot?
No, sir, because when I sent them their original violation, which was March, I had to go by the conditions in which they were to operate under. So every communication that I was operating under was prior to May. And I could not, the supervisor could, but I could not change and say, this is okay because of May. I had to continue to work up under where they were originally violated from.
Thank you.
I have a question. Is it possible to have 2 conditional use permits that are inexistent and valid for the same business with the same property owner? Or does, because Director Edwards asked about superseding, and that's the first thought that came to my mind. I would think if you get a permit in May, that would supersede the permit from March, but I'm not certain of that.
Well, where I'm not certain is the fact that another one was issued. That's where I'm not certain at.
So, right,
So,
so we don't know if it's if one permit in fact is all you can have on a business, or if you can have multiple permits. Does
correct. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I would think the answer would be no.
Right.
You'd have one
But-
conditional use permit.
Right, but I can't really say that. But what I can say is the directive that my supervisor gave me was whatever I used to do the violations is what I had to follow up on. That's what the directive that I was given. So that's the reason why I tried to make it understood that I know it's another one out there, but when I sent him his 30-day warning letter in March, it was due to the violation, the permit of 120299. So I had to follow through with that permit.
Sure, and this is going to be redundant with Director Edwards' question, but so blunt lights are not applicable to the May permit, but the only thing in violation on the May permit is in fact the temporary signage that exists today, correct?
Temporary signage.
That's it, for May.
May.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for the zoning administrator's office?
Thanks, Mike. I just need to make sure I get this, because I'm looking at the May permit, which, when you weren't here, Mr. Mosier came and he
Correct.
testified from this permit.
Okay.
So, and I'm looking at it, and it looks like it's the same, condition.
Conditions.
Number 5, and the same condition number 6.
Okay.
And I can show it to you, but has this been amended in some way that we need to know about?
Again, I'm not really sure because when I was out and Dylan, I don't even know where he found that. Okay, so I don't know where he found the new permit. This is what I'm saying.
Oh, do you want to see this one?
Because when I was out, he did do the reinvestigation.
I think that the board really wants to know if that condition was removed.
Okay. In looking at, to answer the question, in looking at what's here on this one in May, it talks about the food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters and pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. That's what number 5 reads on that one. So, again, if you listened, you did not hear anything about the cigars. So that's the difference, even though 5 is still here in place, but it does not have any mention of the cigars. So, again, I was instructed, thank you, I was instructed that what I cited, what I used to cite is what I needed to continue to review. So
Any further-
that one on number 5, it looks the same, but the cigars have been removed from that one.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up. I appreciate it.
Any further questions from the board? Thank you. At this time, is there anyone else present who wishes to testify that the noted conditions have not been complied with? Please come forward and testify. Seeing none, the board asks the conditional use permit holder to come forward and be sworn in.
How you doing?
Okay. Who's the conditional use permit holder? That's it.
Hi, my name is Galal Saulan. Okay. My name is Galal Saulan. Hussam is the owner, but I'll be speaking behalf of
Speak
him.
up just a little bit, please.
I'll be speaking behalf of him
Okay.
today. So we got the letter for the hearing like 2 weeks ago, and the name, first of all, the name in the letter and the business name is wrong. So the owner name in the letter we get was Ibrahim Al-Battah, which is the last owner. He's now existing in the business for more than a year now. And the name we get in the letter, it's Grand Market, which is not us. The name of his business is Grand Star. Okay, we attended 2 hearings before about the cigarette law and the signage. The last hearing we did is about the signage and the conditional use. So we promised that we won't sell any drug paraphernalia like top papers, webs, skills, tubes, glasses, and all of that. We took the cigarette laws off everything for almost 1 month and a half. We lost a lot of business. And then when we came to the hearing, we talked about just selling cigarette laws, and that's all we're selling, it's just cigarette laws and tobacco, which is cigarettes. And the thing that she mentioned about blunt life, it's innocent. You know what innocent mean? It is like you light it and it makes the room smell good, or so it's not
Like incense.
like incense. Yeah, incense. That's the blunt life. It's not no cigarette law. It's not nothing you smoke, or you could grab it. It's just you light it with a lighter and you put it like here and make the room smell good. That's it.
So the name is somewhat facetious. It leads you to believe it's something else.
Yeah.
The name does
It's
that.
just the name, you know, but it does not have to do with nothing with drugs or something. So all we're selling now is cigarette law and tobaccos. There is no wraps, as we promised, no zigzag, which is wraps, no leaf, no tubes, no nothing, anything like this. Because last time before we attended the hearing, we took the cigarette law off for, as I said, for almost a month and a half, and we lost a lot of business because of the cigarette law. And then when we attended the hearing, we talked about just selling cigarette laws, and we just put the cigarette laws. About the signage, we got permit for all the signage I have. The one in the glasses, the one we say buy, trade, and sell, and the one up to in the building, the one that say Grant Stop, which is this, the receipt for everything. She got Miss Reese. I gave her one of this paper too. She got a copy of it. Because last time I promised you, all of you, that I'll do the signage permit in the following week, and I did as I promised. We used to have a problem with the health department, and you guys told me fix it right away because they could shut you down, and I fixed that problem in the same day. I called the company. They came next day and did everything, and we got in the door. So with the health department, we got next day they come do the inspection. We were good, but the signage, I went to get signage, waited for them. They came check them. I paid for them, and they checked them, the zoning office. They came check them, and we were good on them. That's why I was like in the hearing when I saw the signage. I said we already paid for them. I don't know.
So just a couple things here. We have some other issues internally we need to handle, but I want to take the easy one first. And so the permit that you just gave me, and that I'm holding, that you just handed to me, mirrors what the zoning inspector said. It says to install 3 non-illuminating signs per plant. So if you look at this picture right here, there's a sign up top, and then there's signs down here in the window and so forth. So somebody needs to tell the zoning inspector which 3 signs this permit is for, because this permit does not say what it's for.
Okay.
That's
So-
the first thing.
Yeah, let me just make it obvious for you. The 3 sign, they meant the one in the window, they calculated as a 1 sign.
Okay. But
And
again,
the 2,
like I
I
said,
have 2 like this, one in the left corner and
Sure.
one in the front
I
corner.
understand what you're saying. This is 1 sign.
Yeah.
It's not 3. So that's 1, that's 2, okay? But then what your conditional use permit also says is there shall be no temporary signage on the premise or posted on the interior, exterior of the windows. If you look at these pictures, there's temporary signs all over that. So that's a no-no, okay? That's number 1. The next question is we have this question of which permit actually is dictating the conditions for you, whether it is the previous one, which says no drug paraphernalia, or it says the one dated in May. So we need to work out that issue as well. But I think what you probably need to work out is what 3 signs this permit does, and I'll give this back to you. And then you need to remove the temporary signs that are other than that off of the building. Okay?
Gotcha.
Will you do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll do it today.
All right. And then the next question is we need to figure out this permit issue, but you're saying for condition number 5, the only thing that you have is this blunt life item, which
Box,
is like
so
incense. It's not smokable.
It's not smokable at all.
And so the question I would say to you on that one is if you talked to the zoning inspector and she said to you, okay, that and 2 other items are a problem, are you willing to remove those?
Absolutely.
Okay. Questions from the board?
I have,
Yes, ma'am.
there are actually 3 conditional use permits associated with this address, and that is not your fault. But it did cause some confusion. So you said that you're here on behalf of the owner.
Yes, ma'am.
Lots of notices went out to lots of people because of all this
Yeah,
confusion. So who are you here speaking on behalf of?
Okay, Hussam Al-Rayami.
Could you spell that for him? Oh, here.
Hussam,
Okay, and he's the owner of the
the
business?
only owner in the business.
Okay. And
The name of the business is Grand Stop, not Grand Market.
okay. Okay. Okay, thanks. And that's all I have. I had maybe possibly a follow-up.
And what I would recommend is after the hearing, after the meeting, if the conditional use holder, the zoning inspector, and Barb, if you, council, would meet and work through some of the details so we can get this resolved. Okay. Any other questions for the conditional use permit holder? Thank you.
I still have one about the cigarillo. Are we allowed to keep the cigarillo, just the cigars and the tobacco?
Right. So what, you answered the questions well. You said you are willing to resolve these issues, which, and I don't want to speak for the board. We have to vote on it.
Okay.
But I would think that tells us that you want to do the right thing, correct? And so what really needs to happen now is we need to finish the hearing, right? And then we need to have a vote on it. And more than likely what'll happen is, and I'm speculating because I don't know what the vote will be, we will give you some time to get these matters resolved and then come back to us. And that'll also give us an opportunity internally to resolve this issue of all these conditional use permits that are there. You need to have one with one number and a very clear set of conditions that you understand, right?
It's just that when I asked after the last hearing we came, so I came to the San Luis City, and this is telling me, yeah, you can sell them, and this guy, no, he cannot sell them. And I said, we stopped selling any drug paraphernalia like tubes, paper, anything that can be used for weed, drugs, anything, we stopped selling them. All we sell is just cigars, which is just smoke, it's tobacco, that's it.
Okay.
You guys will send us a letter after the
Right.
hearing?
So I believe that would be worked out through the zoning administrator's office
Okay.
is what would happen. They would clarify that to you
Okay.
as to what the number actually is, probably do a clarification letter with the correct conditions and spell out for you what those items are.
Okay.
And if you ever have a question about that, the nice young lady sitting in the front row, I'm sure, would be glad to meet with you and explain it to you.
Sure.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. If there's anyone else present opposing the revocation who wishes to testify, please come forward and be sworn in. Seeing none.
May I? Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Turner, if we were looking at the permit 1254, the most recent, the May permit that we're referring to, would would he be in violation of number 5? I just want to make very clear so I understand. He would not be. Okay. Okay, and is 125546 the last one in time that got issued? The one in May? Okay. I just want to make sure I get my head around it.
You good?
Yes.
I'd like to introduce the zoning inspector's report into evidence for today's hearing as item A. The matter concerning hearing number 8218 is now closed and submitted. The board will continue with its regular agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie. Here. Director Wilson.
Here.
Director Hayes. Here. Director Augustin.
Here.
Director Urgy.
Here.
Director Edwards.
Here.
And President Bradley.
Here we have a quorum. I'll call the meeting in order.
From the President, plans and specifications for letting number 8682, traffic management enhancement, Lambert International Boulevard. Federal project number CMAC 9901644, St. Louis Lambert International Airport, St. Louis, Missouri. Plans and specifications for letting number 8684, expansion joint structure and exit 18 ceiling replacement at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. PSA number 12222, the evaluation and design of the Lambert International Boulevard Bridge over Coldwater Creek. Supplemental agreement number 10 to PSA number 1178, testing and inspection services of material for various construction projects, Lambert St. Louis International Airport. Supplemental agreement number 4 to PSA number 1210, open-ended architectural design, drafting, and estimating services, Lambert St. Louis International Airport. Equipment Services Division contract for service and repair of vehicle lifts with Nation and Flexure, Inc. The contract provides service for repair through December 31st, 2023. Recommendation that the board declares as emergency work Juvenile Detention Center replace second floor roof, St. Louis, Missouri. Be approved. From the Director of Public Utilities and Streets, joint recommendation that the following permits for AT&T be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. From manhole bore 85 feet to a new 3 by 5 by 3 feet handhole being placed in sidewalk. From this handhole, dig 1 feet to a new 4 by 4 pass with fiber box. All work taking place at 5801 Sunshine. From the handhole at 5801 Sunshine, bore 1 fiber approximately 100 feet before continuing in easement at same address. Bore 2 fibers 237 feet before continuing into easement at 5804 Sunshine. Place 240 feet of buried copper cable from manhole on the southeast corner of the intersection of North Sarah and St. Ferdinand, 2422 St. Ferdinand. The cable will be placed in the right-of-way on the south side of St. Ferdinand in a westerly direction for 240 feet to a pole at the front of 4114 St. Ferdinand, etc. And starting at the existing AT&T handhole located at Bircher Boulevard in front of 5300 Bircher. From this handhole, place 440 feet east through existing conduit and place new 3 feet by 2 by 3 feet handhole in the front of 5300 Bircher Boulevard in the right-of-way, etc. Recommendation that the following permits for MCI Metro access be approved subject to certain conditions as follows. Place new handhole and conduit to pull fiber starting at 4115 McPherson. A new handhole and fiber distribution terminal, then bore 34 feet to existing handhole located in front of 4115 McPherson. And place a new handhole and conduit to pull fiber starting at 1308 South Kings Highway. Place new handhole, then bore 136 feet to west across Kings Highway. Then turn south and bore 1,081 feet to McCree, etc. From the Director of Public Utilities, recommendation that the board declares as an emergency to repair the Ideal electrical magnetic clutch number 1 be approved, subject to be approved. From the Director of Public Utilities and Safety, joint recommendation that the following subdivisions be approved, subject to certain conditions as follows. DKCD LLC to subdivide land at 2301 South Kings Highway in City Block 4821A. And Landis Signature Homes to subdivide land at 2821 through 23 Iowa in City Block 1424 South. Bar Equity Partner LLC to subdivide land at 3214 and 3216 Pennsylvania in City Block 1508. From the Director of Streets, an ordinance to conditionally vacate a section of Spring Avenue beginning approximately 445 feet south of Forest Park Avenue and continuing southwardly 30 feet to its terminus at Market Street and Interstate 64. Recommendation that permit for Cluster Rights to encroach with garage at 2514 Newhouse be denied by reason of the fact that the proposed garage location will impede future pedestrian access way. From the Director of Public Safety. Now we have the conditional uses.
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Terrell Island, zoning plan examiner for the city of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. For board item number 766, transmitted here with the recommendations for the following conditional use applications. Approval is recommended for 5 applications, and they are 2835 through 45 Clara Avenue, 5555 St. Edward Street, 5578 St. Edward Street, 5581 St. Edward Street, 4947 West Florissant, and approval with conditions is recommended for 3 applications, and they are 4827 Sacramento, 8428 Lowell Avenue, and 5188 Dr. Martin Luther King. I request that these recommendations be approved as submitted. Are there any questions or comments?
Are there any questions from the board on the conditional uses? Seeing none, I'll take a motion, please.
I move to approve the conditional uses as presented. Second.
Moved to second for approval of today's conditional uses. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Argy.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Conditional uses are approved. Hearing number 8218, which is Grand Stop at 1015 North Grand. And what the permit number is, I don't know. So we have a situation where we have 2 conditional uses that are in question. Condition 5 with drug paraphernalia items, and condition 6, which is temporary signage and actually signage for permanent signage permits. You heard from the zoning administrator, there are some inequities with the permit numbers. You heard from the conditional use permit holder that, yes, there are some issues, but they are attempting to resolve those issues, and they are willing to resolve those issues. My question or my comment really pertains more to the multiple conditional use permits issued to an address or a business. And so I believe that whatever we find for the conditional use permit holder, what we need to do beyond that is work with the zoning administrator's office and city councilor's office to figure out a way to resolve this question of multiple permit numbers and get this in line with the business that's at hand and issue them a permit number and a set of conditions, and we all are on the same page with what's expected. I'm not sure that they are 100% sure of what's expected of them, because I'm relatively certain I'm not 100% sure. So that's where I'll start, and then I'll open the floor up for comments or questions from the board.
Yeah, I think really before we take any action, we need to know which permit to operate on, and I think probably is the most last one. And then I would look at, where are they in violation still of in that, wherever the last permit is.
Comments? Further comments?
I pulled up the last 2 inspection reports for the grocery permit and the carryout permit, and as the owner stated, they corrected any of the violations immediately upon the second inspection.
Further comments or questions? So maybe it's a suggested course of action for the board that we table this until the permit issue is further resolved and can be represented.
I mean, given that you need the clarification of the sign issue, I think if it only hung on the number 5, possibly we could have greater debate, but since you'd like to see the sign.
Good. Any further comments or questions?
And I don't believe that we have the authority to change the permit numbers. I believe that would have to come from the zoning office that issued the number. So I don't think there's anything further we could do today.
I would agree. I think that we need to have a presentation to the board from the zoning administrator recommending to us as a board how to proceed with that permit issue.
I move that we table the hearing until the presentation.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. For tabling, can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Ergy.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Tabled. I'd like to turn your attention to our meeting minutes from Tuesday, December 11th, 2018. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes as presented?
I move to approve last week's minute.
Second.
Moved and second for approval of last week's minutes. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Ergy.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Today's agenda, questions or comments on the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Moved and second for approval of today's agenda. Can you call the roll, please?
Director Scobie.
Aye.
Director Wilson.
Aye.
Director Hayes.
Aye.
Director Augustin.
Aye.
Director Ergy.
Aye.
Director Edwards.
Aye.
And President Bradley.
Aye. Today's agenda is approved. Motion for adjournment, please.
1 second. Did I, how did I respond to the December 11th meeting minutes? Did I say aye?
Yes.
I'd like to correct that and say abstain. I was not
Okay.
here. It just hit me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Correction noted. Motion for adjournment, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Merry Christmas, everybody.